You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Wanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And together we are Rollins. And we're celebrating, Jean-Paul. We are having a party because it's the first year of AEW Dynamite, so we're going to celebrate, at the anniversary of this show, but it didn't really feel like it. A lot of championship matches, Jean-Paul, a lot of things happening, but they didn't give them like they didn't make it like big for me. They didn't even make it like, oh, we're celebrating, there was confetti. Hey, thanks for watching our first year. Like, let's go through like the best moments on Dynamite so far. Nothing. It just felt like a regular show for me.
Oh, yeah. No, they could have did it. Not that I'm his biggest fan, but you could have brought Tony Khan out, and he could have, been like, oh, thank you all the fans, everybody at home, obviously 2020 pandemic, it's bullshit, but thank you for all your support. And then showed a highlight clips, like, showed when Jericho was like, we're going to change the world and all that stuff. But no, instead they had two segments, or one major segment with Jericho and MJF that took way too long. You could have cut that. You could have pretty much just got rid of that whole segment. Same thing with the one with Matt Hardy and had a nice video package like that.
Yeah, like kind of like you said, like highlighting everything that happened on Dynamite throughout this whole year. We had a lot of championship matches, but Jean-Paul already predicted. He told me in the text that no titles are going to change hands. What happened? No title change hands. So like that makes shows for me. They don't give them the relevance. It's like you could have a show like this to make the title switch. You don't do it. It just becomes like a pretty plain Dynamite. So let's go over like everything. But before we do that, thank you so very much, family. For the bottom of my hearts, from Jean-Paul myself, because of all the views, all the comments, we really appreciate that when talking about like content. Don't forget to check night 2 of the drop with Jean-Paul Leck. Absolutely extremely great video. Like this drop, like he says in the video, is like one of the worst drops ever. Nothing really makes sense. Like the same stories are just going from show to show. Jean-Paul like even like almost like I think he killed somebody when he talks about like how like they switched the tag titles. Nobody wants to like know about that. But if you guys want to check it out, please. We will love it and we appreciate that. For the soccer fans, Jean-Paul right there. Quarterfinals for the World Cup in Qatar 2022. Ecuador finally beat Uruguay, so that's good. Our team is getting better. We were our first win, so we have 3 points. So we're starting to dream because the team actually had a really good performance. New players, they're young. They just hungry for like glory, for success. So please check that out. So please stir the egg. Let's start talking about Dynamite because the show started with the tag titles. FTR going against the Good Friends. They're not the best friends, Jean-Paul. Okay, forget about it.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
No. Forget about that. That's completely out of the window. It's the Good Friends. So like FTR going against the best friends. So like, what do you think? I mean, the match was like good. Kind of like a good tag team match between FTR, like I said, grounded. I like when they went on the top a little bit. I really like that. But other than that, I mean, it was just still plain for me. Nothing really of excitement when it comes to those.
Yeah, I think FTR, they really wrestled their style, which I'm a fan of. I do like this match because it wasn't so much like best friends, and it told the story. It was like, okay, you isolate Trent, and then Chucky makes the hot tag, but then they cut him off, and it was a good solid match. Tully got involved a few times, and then towards the end of this thing, when it starts to pick up a little bit more excitement, is when you saw it was Wheeler and Trent were on the outside, and Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford are playing some arcade cabinet. And then he spears right through the arcade. So then it was like, okay, you knew something was going to happen. I was like, oh, maybe they'll just get the count-out victory. They didn't go for that. Sabian was like, Ford, he tells Penelope, yeah, go to the back, go get him. And you like, commentary was like, oh, who does he mean? It's like, no shit, he means Miro. Come on. But, then this match ends. What was the finish? It was...
The finish, it was Tully Blanchard, Jean-Paul.
Yeah, with the title.
Like, he wagged Chucky with the title.
Yeah.
No. He gave Dags, I think.
It was Wheeler because Dax was in the ring.
He gave Wheeler the title, and then Wheeler wagged Chucky with it, and then pinned him.
I like that, but I wish the ref would have took a little bump and been like stumbling from that. Instead, the ref just ducked on all fours out of the way and was on his hands and knees for like what felt like an eternity till he finally turned around and was like, oh, okay, 1, 2, 3. So I didn't like that from the ref, but I like the finish, how they cheated. I was scared, though, when he sent Penelope to the back that Miro was going to cost FTR the tag belts, but I'm glad that didn't happen.
Oh yeah, no, like you said, it was a pretty good match, and of course, like the heels win with the tactic ways, and finally, like you said, and that was one of like the criticisms that we had before. Remember that we said that like Tully doesn't do anything. So what's his role? Now finally he's actually doing something. So he's helping FTR to win matches. So that's at least you can tell that they're watching Robrick. So that's pretty incredible. Thank you so very much for doing that. Keep watching. So that was good. And they retained the titles. I like how in the end, remember, like the best or the good friends, they actually hug and they did the pan out, like the zoom out and all of that. So we knew, like the tag team division here in AEW, like you mentioned before, is not the greatest one. I mean, talent-wise, it's probably the greatest one. Is it booked right? No, I don't think so. So for that reason, FTR keeping the titles is what Jean Paul always says. The main feud is the guys that love super kick people, and they look like bums. With long hair, like the beard, like they look like freaking bums with money. And, is it going to be the Bugs against FTR? That's what it is for me. I don't know if any other tag can go against to this, two tags, because that's the money feud. Right, Jean-Paul?
Oh yeah, they're not going to do anything. They're not that. They're every feud that's going to be coming up is just to hold it over till that happens. Whether we got the announcement tonight for that 4-way tag match that the Bucks are in to be number one contenders. It looks like they're pushing the feud. And whether that's going to be at Full Gear or when, I don't know. That match is going to take place, but yeah, they're just holding it over for the Bucks. But after this thing, then eventually Miro comes out. He destroys the best friends, and then they're like, oh, we're going to see Miro and Sabian in a tag match next. So then that was like a decent segue. At least it was like, okay. And then that's probably going to be the next feud will be the best friends and Kip Sabian and Miro.
Yes, and then it's a good continuation. The one I think he fought, what was the guy's name? Jean-Paul, help me out with.
Sean Maluda.
Sean Maluda from the Cruiserweight Classic. I remember him, but like again, why was it handicap?
Well, he was in a tag match, but he never tagged his guy in.
Oh, but that makes it even worse.
Yeah, they isolated him, but yeah, you would have thought it was a handicap, but yeah, they just decimated this guy.
Like, is this a handicap? Because first of all, I don't see the guy in the corner, so I'm like, okay, what the hell?
It really should have just. I mean, it shouldn't have been a tag match. It should be Miro on his own. And it should have been against Sean Maluda, and he just kicked his ass. We don't need Saban.
And Miro looked at least finally decent. Although like I don't know when you saw that like he attacked Chucky, kind of like he goes with a clothesline, and Chucky was backwards, like if he was like in his back, so he like hits him, and then you see Chucky kind of like almost falling, and I'm like, oh my god, here we go again. I'm like, can they actually rehearse the moves first before they do it? But
I mean, Chucky's not good, but
anyway, but like the move, like the match was really quick. I mean, like was like 3 seconds or something, and then he did the game over. Formerly known as the Accolade, formerly known as like the Iron Sheik and like the Gory,
the Camel Clutch.
Clutch. Gory created that move also. So Camel Clutch, Accolade, and now it's game over. And then he goes and cuts a promo. Remember Jean Paul? Oh, you guys destroyed my arcade. Oh, good friends.
Yeah, the good friends.
Good friends. I'm like,
what did he say? I think he said, "I'm sick of your shit" or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sick of your shit. Good friends. I'm like, I'm sorry. Can you remember the names? Can you get to know your new co-workers, so to say, like before you start like going out on TV?
To me, with him being Bulgarian and the really thick accent, and how I love how he yells in Bulgarian and stuff. The fact that he calls them by the wrong name, I think, is funny. Like you would almost believe it, like the Iron Sheik would like yell and talk and like he'd say things. It's like what? It kind of makes sense for him, but And speaking of mess ups, before we move on, Tony Schiavone, he's like, "Oh, it's been a pleasure to be here since 1990." He's like 19, that he stopped himself, and they're like, "Yeah, wrong company, Tony."
yeah. Because like he wanted to say something like I think he almost says 1990. And like, wrong company. Anyhow, I'm like, really? Like you said, it's like you always mention this in the reviews that we do. It is true. Sometimes I think they go on there, and this is more improv. And then they, because of the improv, it's like, oh, so...
Well, not even that. I mean, clearly he meant WCW, but it's like, why can't you just, make a joke, like, acknowledge WCW? Because you brought Eric Bischoff on your show.
Yeah.
So clearly you acknowledge WCW's existence.
Wrong company, man. As I was saying, they just sweep it under the rug and then let's move on. But, like, that's not what it was. And, I mean, like you said, it was these two segments at least was like a hot start. And then we move on to, like, MJF. MJF was like had a big announcement to say, Jean Paul. So like everybody's like waiting. I was really thinking maybe he's going to challenge again John Moxley. I thought maybe the more continuation with Jericho, but this was a little like, a little weak for me. I mean, he's great on the mic. He called out Jericho. Of course, he came out with Inner Circle. So he was talking about how like Jericho, the 30 years that we did is on the channel, the last episode of Dynamite, and then he calls out him, and then Sammy Guevara, you made me laugh because he had the the jacket, but it was really big. He was like a triple XL or something.
Yeah, because he's like, here you go. He's like a little buddy, and he's like, look at this. And Jericho's like, put it on, Sammy, put it on. And he's like, no, it's huge. And he's like, come on, put it on. So he puts it on, and he's like,
like a pajama, yeah. So like they have like a long interaction between the two of them, though.
Way too long. Way too long.
Yeah. So pretty much, to summarize the whole thing is like, when you like two piranhas and doesn't attack, you don't see two piranhas attacking each other, all of that, and it's like, Animal Planet, I hate Animal Planet, and he keeps going and going.
He pretty much just says that, like, we're both predators, but our prey, they're becoming smarter and they're changing, so we need to be smart and change as well. So, and he's like, he wants to say to join the Inner Circle, but he doesn't. But then he speaks his inner monologue on the microphone to try to be like, it's supposed to be like funny. Then he does like the boyhood dream thing. He's like, no, that's stupid. Knock at Shawn Michaels, which, it's funny. I'm not, Shawn Michaels, whatever. But, I mean, it just went on way too long. And then they eventually said that they're going to have a steak dinner next week, I guess, to discuss further about him, quite possibly, maybe, his whole going on about joining the Inner Circle. So we'll see how that goes. I think it would have been better if he would have just attacked Jericho here, just jumpstart the feud, just dragging it out. By the time they actually fight, it's going to be like, okay, my excitement's gone.
No, absolutely. And like the one thing is like, they took way too long to take me to the main point that is like, I want to join the Inner Circle.
Exactly.
And the fact that he's like,
let me touch your hair and all that shit.
Yeah. He's like, it looks like a baby's bottom. And then he's like, I'll do it if you join me for like a steak dinner. Okay, that took forever. And, it's just like, they keep joking about it. And when they keep joking, it takes away the seriousness that this alliance could possibly be. Because these two main guys, like you say, MJF is huge, Jericho is huge. Like Cole, maybe you could go ahead and say that like they're the biggest drops on AEW. The biggest like big draws. Why everybody watch that? Okay, so like this could mean this should be more legit than anything, and it doesn't feel that way because they keep teasing like making it fun. They make it comical rather than make it like a serious alliance. Everybody should be scared of it.
Just like WWE, so people don't say I'm a hater. They find AEW sometimes finds the best way to make a storyline that would be legit bullshit.
Oh yeah. No, WWE is not only the one.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So Jean Paul, you saw that throughout the show also, like we were gonna have this match as the main event. And that was going to be John Moxley defending the AEW World Heavyweight Championship against Lars Archer. But, like, they were attacking each other, backstage. Behind the scenes, they were attacking each other. Like, at the beginning, like, it was, like, John Archer attacking Moxley. And then later on in the night, we saw, like, the Snake was about to cut a promo. And then Moxley came back and then got back at him. So, like, that to me took away a little bit of the match. Why? Because, it's a World Heavyweight Championship match. It's like, keep it, like, for the ring. You don't need to do anything backstage. Keep the guys separated. Make it more legit. Make it more professional. Give it that sports vibe. It's like they don't touch each other. They don't see each other until it's like ring bells and then we go. At least for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I guess going into it because I wanted Lance Archer to win, but when he didn't win last time, it's just it's not good. And I was like, he's not going to win here. So when they were attacking each other, I'm like, this is just, just going to keep on the Moxley train. I was just like, okay, he's going to beat him up here and Moxley's going to get revenge. And it was just like, okay, you know what I mean? Just like, let me just sit on the bus and ride the trip because I know where it's going.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's what we have. We had also like a promo from Britt Baker with like Tony Giovanni. That was kind of fun because they were like in like a waxing place, like they're taking care of the skin, and then they wax Tony Giovanni off, and he's like, I
love when she has like the zucchini on her eyes or whatever. They take that shit off, and she's like, "Why are you naked?"
Yeah,
and Tony's like
naked, and it's like, oh my god, and then they're like, okay, we start waxing him. Like the 40-year-old virgin,
Yeah.
So that was cool. I mean, I like that. And then like they were actually talking in like the spa, right, in the same place, but like they were just like sitting. And then you see like, oh, it's like, Tony, cover up. I think he got a boner. Is that what it was? Because she just goes like, cover up. I'm like, what?
Yeah, who knows what's going on? They do have a good relationship, so maybe Tony, hey, he's got that earring. He's young, he's styling, so who knows? But this was pretty much
the second win.
Yeah, this was pretty much just to promote Britt Baker. She's coming back, and she's going to be in action next week, and I'm excited because she's one of the most legit women on this roster, and I think she's going to be the next AEW Women's Champion.
And you said Manny Feud is with Sheeta. So there you go. So for the ones that love Jean Paul's booking right there, that's what we want to see. So it was good. And you said Britt Baker is the best heel in AEW. Nyla Rose is completely an afterthought. Riho, I don't know where she's at. That's the only woman in
there was probably like a really strong gust of wind in Japan, and she's floating around somewhere.
Yeah, she might be floating around. That's absolutely right. So Jean Paul, let's move on to the second championship match of the night, and that's the TNT Championship. And that's, Cody defending against Orange Cassidy. This match was, to me, normal, average. I don't think that it was anything special from it. To me, I just feel that, like Cassidy looked decent. Cody looked like Cody. Like, they always have to make him look good. But I think that, like, going all the way to, like, the end, it was just, like, the 20-minute time. And then right before when he's about to, like, win, like, the bell rang and all of that. So I didn't like that too much. I mean, it just told me the story. Oh, yeah, we don't want him. We don't want the title switch. We want this match just to fill a spot on the show, and we're going to end it in the most boring fashion possible.
Yeah, well, and also to skip ahead, then to just get back, they did say that this match, I believe, is in 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. They said they're going to have a rematch because they're like, it did go the time limit, and there was no clear victor. So they are going to have another rematch, and I think that's just the holdover till Full Gear, where we see Darby Allin will challenge, whoever the champion may be at that point. Yeah. But match, it was pretty good. Cody actually did make Orange Cassidy wrestle, which the fact that he acknowledged they acknowledged that Orange Cassidy doesn't actually wrestle, how does that look? It's like, okay, like
that means I'm right.
No, but I mean, it was good. I just didn't like all the interference. I liked how they've been hinting slowly at Cody turning heel. I don't know why he dyed his hair. He bleached his hair again. His hair is going to fall out soon. He's going to look like his brother. But
Eminem. He wants to be Eminem.
Yeah, exactly. Him and Miro. I wrote you Miro, but you still ain't calling. But no, this. I mean, it was. I don't like the Dark Order coming in. That was like. And I also don't like, there was 1 or 2 spots where, it was the Michinoku driver, and when he hit whatever that movie he hit on the apron, I forget what they call it, the something beach, the beach something.
The finisher, right? Like
when Orange Cassidy hit both of those, Cody literally stood there and like he pretty much walked to Orange Cassidy and like climbed on his shoulders, and it was like clearly you saw Cody was cooperating. It wasn't Orange grabbing him and doing the move.
It's mainly for the Michinoku driver. The Michinoku driver, like he tried, and then he's he's like when you play the game and he's too heavy, and he's like and he's like, bro.
He's like, can you help me out here? And Cody's like, okay,
come on, let's go. So and then boom. But yeah, I agree with you. I didn't like the Dark Order coming in. Why? Because they got kicked out.
And they're all. I mean, see, I just need to get over the fact that they're going to be portrayed legit, and I need to just accept the fact that they're comedy losers. Because every time they act like comedy, I'm like, can they please be legit? But they won't, because they're a comedy group. So it is what it is. But yeah, Cody, I thought he was going to win with the figure 4. I thought that's where it should have ended, but Orange fought through it, and then like you said, he gets the mousetrap roll up. I think they called it 1, 2, and then the buzzer rang, so it was a draw. So we'll see in 2 weeks.
We'll see what happens, but again, like you said, like I just didn't like that, because it's every time that like we just put a championship match, we're just gonna have it like to end this way because we don't want a title switch. I don't like that. I'm sorry, I don't really like that. But
that's why I think Cody should have Cody should have just beat him 1, 2, 3 with a figure 4.
I mean, that's fine.
1, 2, 3 should have tapped out, right?
Yeah, should have tapped out, but I just feel that like again, if you're gonna give me another match, don't get me to the whole shebang.
Well, that's like what we'll get into, in the main event. They just keep booking the same thing to hold over till Full Gear.
Yeah, like it's like okay, so I just didn't like that too much. So talking about Full Gear, like the tournament to determine the number one contender for the AEW Championship. Oh, that I took that fast. Is right here. We have the bracket Jean Paul. This is like Jean Paul is already pissed off because the Lucha Bros are against each other. As you guys can see, Penta against Ray Phoenix, Kenny against George Janela. We have Cole Cabana against Karen Hanman Page, Wardlow going against Jungle Boy. So this looks good aside of the Lucha Bros. For me, the other matchups, they look extremely fine. Because we know who could advance easily.
Yeah, I would. If I'm booking this thing, obviously, I've been saying it for weeks. The finals got to be Kenny and Hangman. They're on opposite sides of the bracket, so that's the way it should go. For the semifinals, I hope it's Penta and Kenny. I think that will be legit. Kind of go. They have history, so that'll be good. And obviously, it'll be Hangman against Wardlow. And see, you could tell the story. Hangman barely wins, but he gets his ass kicked, and he goes into that match really beat up. Kenny, maybe less beat up, takes advantage of his former partner and then becomes the number one contender.
Yeah, and you said, and that would be extremely great because you could set up the cleaner one more time.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like, and you touched on it too, is I don't know why they like the Lucha Bros got to go against each other. That's a little bit like you could have maybe Phoenix go against Hangman in the first round, and it's like okay, then Hangman wins. It's like whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
It would be like they would book us to go against each other in the first round. It's like can we live?
Really?
Yeah.
He's like, really? Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make really any sense. It doesn't sit well for me either. But again, like the Lucha Bros are just being treated like normal people, average, irrelevant. What is the word? Ordinary. Ordinary, just ordinary. When they should be like the main thing that you push in the tag team division, which they had a good a promo right there because you said there was 4 teams that were picked up. They have like the thing, and then they just picked up 4 teams that are going to fight each other to determine the number one contender for the tag belts. And they were the Butcher and the Blade. They were the Young Bucks. It was like some members of the Dark Order, and also they were private party.
Yeah.
So like all these 4 teams are going to go against each other, and then the Young Bucks came out, like I said, looking like bums. And then it's like, oh, we're not super kick you, Tony. Legit. We're not do that. And then they super kick, I think it was the one Butcher and one guy from like, I think the Dark Order. And then they all feud. This again is a little whatever. I don't really care. It doesn't, I'm not excited about that. But the tournament for the number one contender is going to be really, really great. Finally, if Kenny wins, if Kenny and Handman, that's going to be really good. Because
that needs to be the final.
That should have been Stasha and Bailey from AEW.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And with the tag team thing to just touch on, I don't like how they destroyed everything. The Bucks should have pretended to super kick, like Tony been like relax, like gotcha, and then just did I don't know like a too sweet to FTR and left.
Yeah,
I should have been a beatdown. It's cooler if you hint at like, yeah, we know we could kick your ass, but it's like, no, we're good.
No, So talking about this situation, then we got to see Matt Hardy. He's with Rebby. He's with the kids. Legit, he's enjoying himself. He says, "Hey, I'm 100% good. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go back to the road. Be with all of you guys. I'm clear." But then we see like a really good promo by Sammy Guevara though. I really like the intensity. I really like what he said. And, like they did it kind of like an NXT fashion, kind of like Karrion Kross, like you see the fire right there in the pictures. And Sammy Guevara said, it was me all along. It was me who attacked you, and I'm not going to stop until I finish your career, until I end you, until you can never wrestle again. So this was good. And, like the intensity, but like you said, it's kind of contrasting because Sammy Guevara looks like a buffoon. When he's in an inner circle and by himself, he looks legit.
Yeah, which I would... I'd keep playing that. Maybe next week have Sammy, maybe Jericho at the dinner, steak dinner. Jericho tried to get Sammy to do something. He's like, no, what? This is bullshit. I'm done. And he leaves the inner circle. And then this is kind of like the feud that like maybe really pushes him to the next level. Have him go over Matt Hardy. And then, that, kind of propels him in a singles run because you said it. And I agree 100%. This is legit. He has intensity, burning the pictures. He's like, I'm going to end your career. Every time you step back in the ring, I'm the one who puts you on the injury report. But then he looks like an idiot when he's wearing an oversized jacket. And he's like, oh, come on, man. So it's like, how can you go from looking like an idiot and then they try to make you look badass? Like, I'm not buying it.
Yes, and that's what makes it difficult for us to get behind that. But it's cool to see that at least Sam is breaking off a little bit. You know, because like see Hager is absolutely just with Jericho. Santana and Ortiz is like really another one. Another good tag team that should be, that should be the feuds. Lucha Bros against, Santana and Ortiz kind of go the Impact way. Hey, put the best friend or the good friends. Put the good friends in the middle of that. or the good brothers.
Yeah, you don't want to get put in the accolade. Come on now, call them the good friends.
With a good friend, with the accolade, exactly. So but of course, AEW, we have our reserves when it comes to like the way they book things. So Jean Paul, like let's go to like in the next championship match, and it was like Hikaru Shida goes against Big Swole. See, this match was good, but we knew that like Hikaru's not going to lose the championship. They did this to Big Swole just because she won the thing with Britt Baker, in the last pay-per-view.
Yeah,
so, there's your championship opportunity.
I was not invested in this at all because I don't know if Tony Khan doesn't like women. He's probably never touched a woman, so that wouldn't surprise me. But this match wasn't even booked on the show. They're like, oh, it'll be a star-studded anniversary show, and then a bunch of fans are like, what the hell? You're defending every title except the women's title. Then the following day, oh, just add it to Wednesday's Dynamite with this. So this match was clearly thrown together. Nobody cared.
No build.
Yeah, no build. It was okay. Big Swole, her entrance, gets in the ring. Yeah, she looked strong, but eventually Hikaru Shida looked stronger at the end. She hit the Falcon Arrow, the knee strike, 1, 2, 3. Did we expect any difference?
You see it.
What did we say? She's holding that thing, and we saw Nyla Rose. I don't know if Vicky Guerrero was there, but we saw Nyla. She was like looking on. It's like, yeah, that's all you're gonna do because Shida is holding that title for Britt Baker, not you.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and that's the thing is like, why don't you just like they give like more storyline when it comes to the women? Like keep having them matches. Where's Thunder Rosa now? I think she's gone. Eva Lee's. Where's Diamante? That should be like the matchups, right?
Yeah, there, remember Shauna? I mean, from that, well, yeah, she. Where's her? We know Statlander's hurt. She's getting, better, and should be back sooner rather than later. But there's no focus on the women's division. But
so like absolutely, Jean Paul. So that was that's the best way to resume, like summarize that match. So Jean Paul, this was the main event. Lance Archer going against Jon Moxley for the AEW Championship match. See, this was good when it comes to like violence. I really like that how Archer came out with like that pointy hat that he had, like
it's almost like that biker, like helmet kind of thing.
He comes out like kicking somebody's ass, like and the guy just gets thrown, and then you see Archer coming out to the ring. That was good. Jon Moxley was not at his house; he was like somewhere closer, like 3 blocks closer to his where like the arena was. So like he didn't have to walk all the like long thing that he does normally. But aside of, I like how he started the match with like the paradigm shift. That was good, and then Archer 1, 2, 3, cool. I like that. I like when the spot that he did another paradigm shift and then he went through the tables. That was even better. But aside of that, I think it was just kind of like the same match that we saw in New Japan. And again, I don't care too much about the match quality when the winner is different. But in this case, Moxley retained. So Jean Paul, like, what did you think about this?
Yeah, and of course, because you mentioned there the table spots and there was chairs. Moxley got thrown through chairs, and this was made a no DQ because of the beat downs, throughout the night. So they made it no DQ, and that is we call that with Braun Strowman. He's given stipulations to look better because he can't wrestle. Or is that the same with Moxley? Is that why they do these stipulations and this and that? I don't know. It's just food for thought. Debate it in the comments, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
But it was good. It was intense. But like you said, they called the Texas death match or like a recall that's saying, oh yeah, New Japan. We actually watched it and covered it. So that was it made you did think of that, and it's like, okay, it's the same thing. And we had Eddie Kingston and the Lucha Bros. I mean, obviously they didn't really speak, but we had Eddie Kingston on commentary, and he was helping call this match. He made it enjoyable. Like how he tells JR and Tony, he's like, I'll slap the shit out of you. Like, watch your mouth. Like, I don't care who you are. Kingston's legit. But it was, the same winner. But what did I say earlier? I was just like, okay, this is Jon Moxley. Mm-hmm. He's just going to run through another monster, and he's going to retain. So
and then especially because Lance Archer did the black. What is the blackout, right? No.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he did the blackout. He did his finisher. He did like his finisher, and Moxley doesn't even sell it, like you said. He does it, and I'm thinking, okay, it's done because like he had already survived like a 3 paradigm shift, and he actually survived also the submission hold.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, legit. It's gonna be a new champion. I'm just saying, like 1, 2, and I'm even like Archer, like okay, and then waiting for and I'm like, what the hell? And Moxley out of, like you said, Super Cena, which actually got married. So congratulations to John Cena, because like in his new stage of life, he finally see Nikki Bella completely over. Finally he found the right woman. So good, congratulations, John. And John Moxley, he completely Superman's out, and he does like a crucifix. I think it was.
Yeah.
And 1, 2, 3, and that's all there was. Why?
Yeah, That was bad. It was
Even he knows because he fell asleep while watching that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if he had him up in the turnbuckle, Moxley could have kicked off the ring post, and he could have, then could have rolled up Archer 1, 2, 3. That at least it wouldn't have been, because now, okay, Archer didn't get pinned. He didn't get submitted, so he still looks strong, but his finisher now looks like bullshit.
Yeah,
that's like when it took us how long to be like, okay, the curb stomp was legit after the Fiend kicked out of it about 6 times.
Yes.
It's like, oh, okay. And people would say, oh, well, what about the paradigm shift with Moxley? Yeah, I agree. He shouldn't have did it 2-3 times if Lance Archer was only going to lose. If Lance Archer would have won, then you could have been like, holy shit, this guy kicked out all those paradigm shifts. Who's gonna beat him? And then that's when it would have been Kenny Omega, with the help of the Bucks, so it would have been dirty, and then, really solidified.
Knowing that the one win Angel, that finisher nobody touches. So, that's like what? That's how you treat a finisher.
Yeah, but no, why would Super Moxley?
No, exactly. And we can see it. We can see it. Yeah, we can see that it's bad. And kind of like Kingston came out with like the Lucha Bros, and then start beating up Moxley. And then, at the beginning, like they were having to talk to him. John, we're friends, we're legit.
Lance Archer, because Lance Archer was beating up Moxley, which those were awful punches. He was probably gassed, but those punches were like.
And also, he's
really?
probably pissed because I don't care what they say, but like I look like an idiot, like now.
Yeah, so he beats up Archer, then they chase Archer out, and like you said, then they hold up hands. He's like, John, we're bros. We known each other 11 years. Subscribe to Rope Break. He said all the stuff everybody needs to hear, and then they hold up the hands, and then he just beats him up.
Yeah. So
and it just he's it because he's like, you never pinned me, you never submitted me, blah blah blah. It's all bullshit. And then now they're going to have a match. And this is just to hold it over till Full Gear, I think.
Yeah, because like the real build is going to be Kenny Omega against Jon Moxley. They know that outside all the feuds.
Or actually, that's after Full Gear, actually, isn't it? Because the finals of the tournament is at Full Gear, I believe. Yeah, so it'll be after Full Gear. So then,
maybe the last Dynamite of like the 2020.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to... Yeah, that would be a good one. But I don't know if you're going to be able to draw Eddie Kingston out with Moxley until then. Kingston's legit, but I don't know if you can make this feud last that long.
No,
so we'll see what they do.
They're going to add somebody else. They have a few guys that like they can always turn heel. Maybe like for example, you could have one of the Lucha Bros. Kind of like that would be cool, but you can make it a little like for example the thing that they're doing with Roman. With Jey Uso is like a contender that is never seen before. Things like that. Maybe I don't know, like maybe Jake Hager one more time. Something dumb because that's how every AEW kind of operates in a lot of ways. He
said it. He said it. Not me this time.
True, though. It is true. Every monster, they're dead. Lee dead. Brian Cage dead. Archer dead twice.
Yeah.
He went for the 2 major titles. He failed twice. What the hell are you doing with the Snake then? Are you guys just like what's going on?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I mean, can I live?
No, not if unless your name is Cody or Moxley. Then no.
Yeah, so like that's what it was, family. So pretty much that summarizes it, right, Jean-Paul? That's
the 1 year anniversary show. AEW Dynamite Rope Break has covered them all, baby.
That's true. Absolutely, the pat in the bag for Jean-Paul because he was the one that started it. So I joined, and it's been good. The one thing even like to say, Jean-Paul, there you go. He's gonna pull out one of the toys. That's legit. Do it.
Hey, where are they? What have I become?
Yeah, right there. See, that's the toys right there. And like you said, not even confetti, like hey, like kind of like pyro, whatever, like hey, is there?
Yeah, they really should have did it. What do we say? Cut down some of these video packages because the matches, overall they were good, and just did a nice video package showing all the stuff you could have showed when they had Dynamite on the boat, and did all that stuff. You could have, but no, they just nothing.
No, they didn't even focus on that. So that's the one thing I would like. It missed the kind of like the party of vibe that they should have had.
Yeah.
But we were not miss that because Rope Break in a little bit is gonna turn like a full. Oh no, we're gonna turn in like a first year. Going like this full fledged. So we're gonna be celebrating. So family, thank you so very much for watching the review. Don't forget to check us out in every single one of the social media outlets that we have. Jean-Paul is gonna remind you every single one of them right now.
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook on Rope Break, the OG Twitter, on or the OG Rope Break on Twitter. There we go.
There we go.
The original Rope Break on Instagram, and the original Rope Break right here on YouTube for the best podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, and of course our new home, which soon we've been there for a while. We're going to call it not our new home, but All Everything Entertainment.
And All Everything, absolutely right, and it's contagious, right, Jean Paul? OG Twitter, like good friends, good friends.
The good friends.
It's contagious. It's all good. But thank you so much, family. Tomorrow we'll be back with like NXT. We have a lot of things, during the weekend. Jean Paul, myself, we have SmackDown. We have NXT UK, and we have a special surprise for every single one of you. So stick around. Robert always delivers. That's what we do. So Jean Paul, you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is.